Put a little tension on it, Bill. Get her going, Bill. George, we're ready for the 1988 deer report, and you seem to be the first one to have action, so why don't you tell us what went on this morning?
Well, I'd be glad to. My day started out with a bang. We had one of these buck on the biggest buck and the first buck. And usual my luck, whenever I get a deer, there's only a paltry $4 in the pot. It happened last year too. Other guys get big pots, all kinds of glory. All I got was the biggest buck.
Well, tell us in detail now how this deer came in, and
Well, I was sitting sleeping in the blind this morning about 7:45, and this one stumbled through and committed suicide. It walked right by me broadside, and I just let him have it right in the chest. He staggered on. I pumped a couple more shots in his direction just for good luck. Missed them both. And it was a lucky thing the first shot was good. He staggered on about 100 feet and collapsed in a pool of blood. That's it. Just pure and simple.
and then you say you saw another one down by the creek when you came out to get the car, I understand.
I did. It was a big buck, yep. Jumped across the creek, jumped back, and then jumped over again. I was running after it, but couldn't get a clear shot on it.
Sounds like that buck that Pete used to chase around down there is still there.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one who was chasing bucks. Who the heck was it a couple years ago that was running after a buck? A neophyte hunter. I remember somebody running after a buck. That's it.
That's it. Bill, you didn't cash in on all those big jackpots that George got, but you did get the second biggest deer today, and wasn't a bad one, nice 6-pointer. A little short of George's 8-pointer. I don't think he put that into his report. But, you want to fill us in on where the buck came from and what you saw before it and all that? And
Okay, this is Bill Esch reporting from the DOP Estates from Oscoda, the 1988 hunting report. I have a little problem with my throat. I think I overtalked at the wedding or whatever, but this morning we got going, and I would say about 9:30 I decided to get off my seat and kind of stretch my legs a little bit, and I walked to the other end of my blind and looked out and couldn't see anything, and I went going back towards my seat to sit down again, and I saw a 4 or 6-point buck coming from the south of my blind, and I froze, and I think he saw me about the same time too, and I really don't know where he went. I saw him, and then he was gone, and never got a shot at him. A little upset with myself for not being in proper position, but anyway, all's well that ends well. So at 10:57 and 20 seconds, the monster came through. This one was coming from the north going to the south. Nice 6-pointer. I was in my seat where I should have been on the first one, and all of a sudden he was in one of my little holes that I can look out. I saw him, and he was facing away from him, so I was going to shoot him from the back, shoot him in the back of the neck, and with that he turned his head towards me sideways, so I had a full shot at his full neck, and one shot, and down he went. Saving ammunition there, no use wasting ammunition or money that way. And very fortunate got a nice deer, and
Well, I see you saved a lot of ammunition on the one at 9:30 too, you know. But that's saving a little more than you should, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Well, very, very appreciative. Having a real good time up here. Going to get this throat worked on tomorrow, I think, so that we can continue the hunt here.
Very good.
Cool.
Well, sitting in my blind this morning, I hadn't seen anything. Well, I saw 7 turkeys come through about 7:30, a little after. And shortly after the turkeys came through, I was sitting down real low in my hotel on Harriet's side over there, and looked out one of the little windows there, and saw a deer going through, and it turned its head. I see it was a spike horn, and had one other little spot I could shoot through as it went by the blind, but by the time I got the gun up, it was through that. So I stood up slowly and spun around and went out to the other side of the big stump. And when I stuck my head out on that other side, it sort of took off running. Of course, you know, then it hit through the Oma stuff. I understand you guys shooting those standing shots. You know, this one I was, boy, that baby was just streaking through the brush when I shot. You know, amazing shot actually. And the deer sort of buckled when I shot, of course, and then it took off down towards the swale. And I did like George. I shot a practice shot, which apparently didn't affect much. And as it got down into the swale, it was running sort of low, and all of a sudden I saw it wheel over and sort of do a cartwheel, and I saw it looked like it dropped. So I waited about 8 or 10 minutes and went over there, and there it laid. It was long gone. So got it cleaned out and went back and sat the rest of the morning. I saw another doe and a fawn came through about 10:30, and a little after 11 I decided to put the rope on the deer and drag it off in the direction of the trail and just see how heavy a drag it was, and moved along real well. And when I got out to the clearing there, I could see Bill's head out real clearly, and I figured he was out of the blind, which I had heard shooting in his direction earlier in the day. And when I got a little closer, I see he had his jacket off, so I knew he had something there. So I just continued on over to him, and of course the news after I got to him, I came to get you guys, and there was Smiling George with his big 8-pointer over on the other side. So that's 3 out of 4 this morning. That's pretty good action, I would say. That's about as good as you can ask for. It's tremendous. So I think now that we've got all the successful hunter reports, we've got to have the predictions from Dave, and that should wrap up the evening report then. You got it on there, George?
Yeah.
Okay, now Dave, while Bill and I and George were out deer hunting this morning, what were you doing?
Well, the results would lead one to believe that I was sleeping, but I was not. I was dodging bullets that were coming from Dad's way. He was sowing three shots at least through the woods. After I took cover and peeked up, I heard crashing around. I saw a doe and a fawn, and drew a bead on them, hoping to grow horns on them, but they weren't there. So I went about my merry business of just watching nature, and I get this orange coat waving at me. Hey, come on up here. Shake the hand of a successful deer hunter. Same old story. We dragged it out. I got a lesson in field dressing. And we jumped a couple more this evening. I don't know if it was because we were talking or because they smelled the sauerkraut.
What do you have planned for tomorrow now? So we
Well,
know what
we
time to get
have
up
to
and
even
come
the
back.
score. We have to even the score. I've got a Bill's special recipe, fox scent and doe scent. He says if I wipe the fox scent on my shoes and put a couple dabs of that doe and heat behind my ear, I'll be all set, and I'll have another one hanging in the boathouse with theirs. So.
Sounds good.
Well, that sounds
But
perfect.
there's still $4 to win back on the biggest buck. So if that's not already claimed for today.
Well,
But maybe we can
that
start
would
a
be
new
par
one
for the
tomorrow.
course. All the showdown money's gone to the Ford family. And, you and Pa want to fight over the jackpots too, that's up to you guys. Okay?
Yep.
I have a suspect that Dave's going to get paid off on that one.
Well, gentlemen, what do you think of that deal there? I thought that was one of the better ones there.
I think it stinks.
I gotta buy my deer this way.
I don't believe that.
I don't think the rain's going to let up for a few hours either, you know? Move in.
Move in.
One less, but there's a bigger one out there.
Yep. See how his horns are all worn off smooth? He must have been a big stud. He had a battle for his harem. Had a good hunt.
A great hunt.
Thanks to Al.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
He loves to cook.
He did a good job.
You should see him make omelets.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, boy.
That Bill's second serving or his third serving there that we're
We don't
recording
count.
here?
This camp, we don't count.
Right, Steve.
Ready?
Well, I tell you, I already had so much, I'll just,
Al's gotta have another scoop.
Oh, no, I'm in pretty good shape.
I'm just gonna, you can't take a little bit of this stuff.
No, it doesn't work too well, not a
If
little.
you get a hold up there, it just keeps coming.
Comes right out. So, yeah.
Pittsburgh News Reporter, we got to get a rundown on the wrap-up of 1988 deer season. And we understand you got yourself a buck down there in your blinds, so fill us in on the details.
Yeah, I was coming through awful slow, couldn't tell what it was. Finally put its head up, could see it was a spike horn. Took a shot, thought I hit the tree, did hit the tree.
Missed the tree.
Missed the tree, hit the tree. Evidently must have got the deer. Deer season's been slow this year though. Not many coming through. Now that you mentioned that, Mitchell Washington did move that pile. I wouldn't that have a lot to do with it.
Well, now that you're telling me that you don't have much action there, you probably changed the feeder,
Probably moved it over there.
moved it in deeper or to a different location, and you're not right in the
Lanes.
lane there where they come off or go to it. So it might be a good idea maybe to take a stroll down through there and see where the feeder is at for next year, or before next season, see where he's got it.
Yeah, they always, when they brought the sugar beets, they always dumped them, right down below there. This year I never walked down there.
But I think he'd have a pile there and then they take their little wagons and
Distribute them.
bring them out to all their different points. That was like their warehouse.
Yeah,
Well, if they would do it the way I do it, take a pail full of grain and dump it down below here, and some apples and some pears.
They eat the pears.
Oh, they love the pears.
Do they?
Yeah. they prefer pears to apples.
You feed them too, but they don't. They have to come to the warehouse. You don't give route delivery, I take it.
This, this oats mixed with rye that I brought from our cottage up at Huntsville. You know, there they provide feed for the deer. So last winter I picked up 6 bales of alfalfa and 2 big bags full of oats mixed with corn. And when we sold the place there, 1 bag was still full, so I thought, well, why should I leave that there? So I brought it up here and dumped it into a big garbage can.
This is the only camp in Alcona County that's feeding them imported grain.
Right, there you go. That's for sure.
A little bit exotic for the deer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and then when I came up last week, Bill Schmidt, this big farmer there at Pinconning, gave me a sack full of corn, dried corn. He wanted it. He says, why don't you take 3 or 4 bags full? I said, no. Go out with 3 or 4 bags full of corn.
Well, in Canada, do you want to feed the deer, or is there a certain amount that you're allowed?
No, they have a place. Well, I guess they have several, but the area in which we had our cottage, there was a place. You could go to it, and you could take as much as you needed. Why not if you want to take a whole load?
Well, yeah, but anything within reason is available, I take it.
Yeah.
Well, we might as well have a beer, Al. Well, I'll be darned. We only got 1 bottle left.
Boy, Bill, I don't know. It must be getting pretty close to time we got to go home, I suppose.
Well, I guess so, unless we could call our wives and have them bring them some more beer up here for us.
Well, Dory couldn't come up to Saturday, and I think she's got a little something planned on Thursday besides. So maybe we ought to pack up and go home and see how things are going.
Well, maybe we should then. You can get some beer on the other end when we get down there.
Now that's a good idea. Now you're talking. Well, that's it for another camp. Notice we got 3 deer this year. I got the little one, but it was the hardest of the 3 to hit, you gotta understand. So, we'll see you next year, folks.